Is programming skills important? What was your experience when you were starting?
Uh, yeah, I can say something about it. When I start before I started like this career, I thought that I needed to know how to program. So I joined a boot camp, and and it was great for me because I started learning about web development, but also Python as well. The reality is that will depend in the job that you are doing in cybersecurity. So in cybersecurity right now, there are opportunities that not necessarily are too technical. However, if you know how to program, I'm not saying you have to be an expert coder or programmer, but if you at least understand the basics, I think that's a great thing to showcase and good for your resume, and also for the conversations that you potentially are going to have with the different people in your team. However, it's not that it's a must. It's always great skills to have.
And there's a follow-on question on that: is what programming language is used mostly, if any? James.
Um, so there are, my understanding of the information technology space is there are four career pathways: IT support specialist, network support specialist, cybersecurity specialist, software and web developer. Me personally, as a cybersecurity enthusiast, programming is a side quest. And if anything, I would say understanding the syntax of the terminals, the command lines, those black boxes, and knowing those commands, you'll have a lot more. If you're if you want to focus on cybersecurity, getting to know the little black box is more important. But programming is a good skill to have. Again, it's a good side quest. You know, it's almost like that side quest that you take in a video game that gets you those stats that you need, so that when you fight the boss, it's a lot easier. You know, or it's a conversation topic. Look, oh, by the way, I like to play with Python and make Python scripts, or anything like that. But I would, again, just to reiterate, syntax and understanding the black boxes are more important than knowing a programming language in cybersecurity.
Shadon, do you have something to add to that? And like in your role, where's programming kind of intersect with what you're doing? Oh,
In my current in my current role, I actually am not doing anything program related. But what I will say is that for myself, I haven't needed that thus far. Not saying that I won't go into doing anything program related, but that's not something I'm utilizing at the time.
which I think is wonderful, just to add to that, because it really showcases that you can have a professional role in cybersecurity and that it's not essential. I think sometimes people just say, oh, that's the
Yeah.
only path in. I have to be an expert coder. I will never get that interview. I'll never get that opportunity. So I think it's actually wonderful to hear that you're like, no, I have a full career and that's not part of my role.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I would even say too, like I'm not saying anyone should not go get like certifications or anything like that, because those are definitely essential. However, that was not my path, right? I just have my degree, my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity technology. But I know that some people may think like you need a bunch of certifications to get your foot in the door. But you can have a degree and still succeed in this field.
fantastic. And then if I could lead you into sort of a follow-up question on that from someone else in our chat. How long did it actually take from the time you became interested in cyber and started your journey to landing that first role? Now, I remember from talking to you and also a little bit of what you just said, you've been into computers since you were, you grew up that way. You grew up with an interest
Yeah.
in. So obviously, it's a whole lifetime. But from the time you decided to professionally say, this is my path, what was the timing from, say, even perhaps graduation to landing that first role?
So for me, I actually was. I think I was in my bachelor's at the end of my bachelor's degree. I started it in 2020, but I got my bachelor's degree in 2023. So I want to say at the beginning of 2023, around April, is when I was able to. I attended that conference, and then in May is when I actually got into the internship in my first role. And then once the internship ended, I was actually hired on full time. So I hadn't even graduated yet before I got an acceptance into a cybersecurity position. So I want to say then I was in that cybersecurity position for about a year and a half. And then I transitioned into the role that I'm in now. So right now, fully, I've been in the role or cybersecurity for about 2 years, maybe 2 years and a month. So I'm fairly new to the actual field, right? But it didn't take me, from my experience, long to get into the field. Like probably 3 years of schooling, and then I was still in school when when I got my foot in the door.
Fantastic. And I actually ask Eurelis, can you speak to that? Because I've known you sort of through this mentorship program, and I know you were sort of in the job seeking mode, but also training. You did the SAN program, and you've been just very committed in your journey. Can you sort of speak to kind of how long from when you decided you wanted to be in cyber to landing that role?
Sure. As you said, I am one of the recipients of the SAN Cyber Academy program, which I encourage anyone to apply because it's a fantastic program. They train you very well, and at the end you end up with 3 certifications. Of course, you have to prepare well for each of the certifications, but what you learn, it is amazing because they teach you not only the theory and the foundational, but also you learn a lot of skills, especially Linux. I knew Linux before entering Sans Cyber, but it was very basic. And after Sans Cyber, I was impressed of how much I learned in that time. It was 9 months. Each they give you like 3 months for each preparation for each certification. So at the end of 9 months, you realize how much you learn in this space. So for me, aside from the SANS, before entering SANS, I used to take, for example, sporadically courses, for example, in Codecademy and also the Google Cybersecurity, which I recommend also anyone to start putting your foot in. Like there are ton of free resources out there. You actually don't have to start paying for courses. There are many good courses for free. And as I said, opportunities like this, the one in SANS, are transformative. At least for me, it was. I don't have a background in cybersecurity. My background was journalism and psychology, and my previous experiences were on that. One thing that drew me to cybersecurity and the transferable skill that I brought to the field, it was my I have this investigative mindset. I love learning, and I also enjoy tech since I was a teenager. I was interested in tech, so I merged and combined all of that to put into my studies for cybersecurity.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Um, well, I love that question, first of all, because mine was a short stint. I literally started last year in July. I got my CC from ISC squared, and that was just like, seeing if I really wanted to go this route. So within a year, I managed to get, my network plus, my security plus, my open source certification. And I had an interview in March for apprenticeship program. And next thing you know, April came, and now I have one starting in September. My journey was quick. It was quicker than I expected because I talked to so many people who had way longer journeys than I did. But for me, I didn't take no as an answer. I found the CEOs of the companies I was looking at. I found people that work there. I asked the people that are involved with the selection process, like, what are you looking for? How can I be more applicable? What else can I do to make myself be the person that you need me to be? And they was like, just work on this and work on that. And when I took those chances and I listened to their advice and I came back for the interview and I was prepared. And when you have these interviews, make sure they know who you are. Like, I got to know the person that I was interviewing by their LinkedIn, by their information. I looked up their stats, I looked up their job, I got to know them. So when I came into the interview, I found a way to connect with my interviewer, which made the process so much easier because it didn't feel like an interview. It felt like a good conversation. And a lot of times we get scared because they're in that position and we're in this position. But when you get to know that person and you go into there and you go in there with a confident mind, sound, and body, nothing can stop you. Literally, nothing can stop you. Because when I ended the interview, I was like, I'll be waiting on my acceptance and I will be accepting it. And we just laughed. But at the end, that was it. Literally a year, less than a year. It's possible.
Thank you so much.